So before I got to Basecamp, I was at a place of maybe quiet desperation. So on the outside, I was really successful. I had the wife, I had the kid, I had an amazing job. Everything on the outside looked well and good, but on the inside, I was broken in the sense that everything that I had been learning as a Christian about freedom and about victory and about being more than a conqueror, it wasn't materializing in my life. Wrestling with, pornography and just sexual brokenness. And so, before I got to Basecamp, I got to the end of my rope. I just needed somebody to tell me how to get where I wanted to go, how to obtain freedom. And so walking into Basecamp, that was more than anything I've ever wanted in my whole life. I just wanted freedom. Sitting through the sessions stirs up something deep within your heart as a man. I could literally feel my heart being lifted from those places of hopelessness. I'm watching a bunch of guys talk and teach from places that I've been in, and they say they're not there anymore. I want this for me. We're at the bonfire. I have a list of agreements. Some of them are things that I've never confessed out loud in a group of men. And I could feel the hope of the moment. Burning the agreements, saying them out loud was I had to drum up every bit of willpower and courage to say a few of these out loud. And as I did, I think I anticipated a moment of release, and I burned them. And then I felt nothing. I felt numb. And then I felt really, really scared. I had just said out loud things that I had held inside my whole life. I said them out loud, Jesus, and I feel nothing. What does that mean? I start making my way through the crowd. Literally, I was gonna go hide. And Jesus said no. Before I could go make more agreements about myself, I ran into a man who wrapped me in his arms. He told me he was so proud of me and that he loved me. And what I understood from that, in the weeping, in the tears, was Jesus swooping in, wrapping me in his arms. Before I could go off and make more agreements about myself, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, right in that moment, embracing me in love, in acceptance, in everything that I had hoped for, stepping over the line, was now becoming a reality in a moment, in an embrace. I was in the embrace of the Father, of Jesus, and the hope of stepping over the line of what I'm now in it. I'm in an embrace of love. From that, there became a firm foundation of love from Jesus. And I've never had a firm foundation of love within myself from him. There came up a settledness within me. This 25-year porn struggle has been broken. I'm almost 2 years free now. And I never thought that was going to be possible. I really lost hope in that. And when he really sets you free, you understand what freedom is. Him setting me free from that, and the way that he's come in and restored my sexuality from the brokenness and the darkness that I was in. I didn't know he could do that. He is restoring my marriage. I've hoped for intimacy with my wife. I didn't really understand what I was hoping for. And now he's showing me what intimacy is. Intimacy with him and intimacy with my wife. And it's become clear to me that I've never experienced intimacy my whole life. He's he's restoring all things, man. Like, he's giving me my heart back piece by piece. Like, he's just so good, man. He's so good.
Before Basecamp, I was in, mentally I was alone, angry, bitter. I didn't trust anybody. My relationship basically felt like two roommates living together. I would tell people I loved my wife, but I never showed her, or I never told her I loved. Honestly, I think I knew of God, but I didn't know God. I honestly didn't think he loved me or cared about me. I always asked questions like, why this? Why that? Why did all these bad things have to happen to me? It's like, where was he? My first impression of Basecamp was, I just wanted to get out of there. It wasn't for me. I didn't need it. Thought it was a waste. Once again, God doesn't love me. Why me? Why did I have to stick around? During that weekend when things started to change for me, this guy named Chance, he interrupted my meal. I would love to sit alone. I always wanted to be alone. And he came and sat with me. It was really awkward. But he just talked and talked about how I'm not alone. How God loves me. And he's always there for me. He did that quite a few times during our meals, but that one time I opened up to him because I thought if I just do that, he'd just leave me alone and I could go about my business. He didn't make me feel ashamed of what I've been through. He just asked if he could pray with me. Why? But I let him, and then he asked if he can hug me. And it wasn't just a hug. I truly felt wanted, loved. Maybe there is God that kind of just accepts me for me. During one of our sessions, Joseph had approached me and he wanted to sit with me. And I let him, but I was still distant. I would move my chair so it wouldn't be so close. He actually had wrote me a letter. And he left it by my chair. We had went to lunch and he left it by my chair and I had moved my chair away from him. And for the rest of the evening, the letter was right by my feet and I would see it, but I wouldn't. I didn't want to grab it. And that letter, he told me God spoke to him. I've never met Joseph before. But what was in that letter? It was me. Tell me how. It was telling me God has always been with me. Since before I was created. All my accomplishments, all the things I went through, He was there. And that He loved me. After Basecamp, I'm learning to be a better father, a better husband. I'm learning to trust God more. with everything in my life, like my emotions, what I'm dealing with, I'm learning to say, here, God, help me. Help me get through it. And he does. I got a great group of friends that, they call, they text. They don't mind if I call them. I don't feel like a bother to them. It's that growth that I get from them. The prayer, the reading the Bible, and applying it to my life. It's something that really has helped for me to become a better person. I love Basecamp. I love God. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Coming into True North, I was your stereotypical good man. The problem was, while on the outside, I looked great. On the inside, I hated myself. I like to say that Basecamp, I was set free from so much, but I really didn't start living like I was free till I went to the Ascent. I was baptized for the second time. I told the guys that for so much of my life, I struggled with self-loathing and self-hatred, but I told them that, that Sean was dead in the water, and the man that God called me to be was rising up. And I did. The time between then as now has really been a exercise in acting out that conversational intimacy with God and inviting him into those places and finding so much healing and restoration. Hearing the voice of your Father is just, one, so beautiful, but also just so life-giving and changing. Being able to see that change in me and to invite Jesus into those hurt spots and find healing and restoration, it's been a game changer. And I've been able to really and truly love myself, and that has helped me love others.
This year you changed the way the summit was set up, and I was just amazed at the difference that there was in the summit and how much better it was, so much more organic, and just made for closer connection with each man that you made contact with.
The environment that created there just allowed me to go a lot deeper with what God had for me and how I could hear from God. I had a big breakthrough with that. Starting base camps in 2015, I still did not feel like I could hear from God.
There was such a spiritual awakening in me. I got close to Jesus and things happened that I didn't think were possible. I've never had visions before, but at that camp I actually had two.
What God showed me through the peace and comfort that I had there at the summit, he speaks to me through peace, and he speaks to me through lack of peace. Was a huge breakthrough that I had. It was so encouraging to realize that. Since I've come back from the summit, understanding how God speaks to me, again, it's 2024, first base camp was 2015. Very excited to take conversations and decisions and small things, just little bitty things. God, do you want me to pray about this? God, should I buy that? Take those to him and know that the peace or lack of peace that I have in that little thing is God's direction to me to do whatever it may be.
What it awakened in me is the fact that I know Jesus is sitting right here next to me. He's with me and I can feel him. And when I spend that kind of time with him, it's unexplainable, the feeling. It's kind of like before we started this, you were praying and I could just feel the Spirit moving. And that's something that's That's something new for me in the last few years.
I feel encouragement to myself that yeah, I am seeking God and I am hearing from God, and I know that I am on a journey and that I am under construction, and I will be under construction until the day I die. That was a huge takeaway from being around the sages at the summit. Was, I was frustrated I'm not as far along as some of the sages in my life in True North, but neither are they. They are not where they want to be, and I am not where I want to be, and that's okay. And so I wake up every day in that rest and in that peace, knowing that I'm failing forward. The direction of True North and the direction of the summit is the narrow path. And follow that narrow path of discipleship and listen to God and hear from God the whole way, and you will have a life experience that you could never dream of.
You see, the enemy's plan is very simple: to take out your heart, take away the story from us. If you rise up, if you put off the poser, if you begin to experience deep restoration, if you embrace your identity, the enemy knows his gig is up, right? His gig is up. You're not a mistake. Your moment is not a mistake. That heart that gets stirred in you, God gave you that heart for a reason. And the reason is because you're going to need it for the story that you're living in.
Sing to your dry bones until you're covered in life, and the valleys bloom like a rosebud in the light.
Yeah, that first base camp is when God became real to me. And we were in one of the prayer sessions with John, and I'm sitting there, and I hear this word, and I hear somebody talking, and I look at my pastor, my buddy Chad, he's sitting beside me, and I said, "Did you hear that?" And he's like, "No, shh, we're praying." We're praying. And I was like, all right. And then a little bit later, I heard it again, and I was like, "Dude, did you hear that?" And he's like, "No, shh." Yeah, I heard it a third time, and I was like, "You had to have heard that." And he goes, "That's for you." And it was God. He was talking to me, and he called me a name, and he called me son. And the third time that I heard him say it, I knew he was talking to me. And there were tears and snot hanging out of my face on the floor. It was just nasty, ugly crying. And it meant so much to me because the conflict and the trouble that I've had with my own father, I never thought that I would be worthy to be called son. My goodness, and whenever my Heavenly Father called me that, I didn't think it was possible, first off. It became real.
Until you're covered in life, and the valleys bloom like a rosebud in the light. Hear the call to attention, feel the change in the air. For the ground is dry, but the clouds are over.
It just gave me a space to heal, to grow, until I started to shift. And it wasn't like, a lot of people have these moments of just so fast. And I've had some of those, but most of my experience in life has been God taking me, reading my Bible, messing up, having to go seek and ask forgiveness, and then getting some dudes around me or reading something, or somebody's mentoring me from a book like John Elders. I've only met him one time, but I feel like the guy's been an instrumental part in so much of my life, and the heart of a man, and the way he's mentored and loved me and you guys and so many of us. And then we've taken that message and we've shared the gospel through that medium.
Yeah.
It's been life-changing.
So leave those shackles in the grave now and dance like you were young. You did not have to live in chains now. There's a key within your song. So leave the past where it belongs, child, and take a leap into the light. Come find the freedom you were born for, and tell that soul to rise, arise, arise, arise. Get up and rise, now sing it again. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Awake, arise, inhale the light. Come alive, come alive. Get up and rise, now sing it again. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Awake, arise, inhale the light. Come alive, come alive. Sing it again. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Awake, arise, inhale the light. Come alive, come alive. Get up and rise, now sing it again. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Come alive, come alive, come alive, dry bones. Awake, arise, inhale the light. Come alive, come alive. Come alive, come alive.
It's real.
Yep.
It's real. I think for a long time I only hoped it was, and now I know that it is, and I'm grateful that I now have an experience and a knowledge to invite men into.
Yeah.
It's real,
Yeah.
and it's for every man.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you're struggling with or
No.
where you are. Like, it's freedom is, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.